Hello, it's Willie from the Ozarks, and we're ready for our November the 26th lesson in A Course in Miracles workbook for students. I will not hurt myself again today. Lesson 330 out of the original edition. And I'd meant to say Happy Thanksgiving yesterday so that you could have got it. You remember I'm doing these a day early, so it's Thanksgiving for me. But I meant to tell you, and I hope you all are having a wonderful Thanksgiving, and thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I will not hurt myself again today. Let this day accept forgiveness. Let us this day accept forgiveness as our only function. Maybe we should just stop right there. Let us this day accept forgiveness as our only function. The great restorative in this world. You know, forgiveness is not known in heaven, but it's what removes all appearances of illusions, what takes fear away, what removes what is not true. So we want to apply it to everything. Let us this day accept forgiveness as our only function, Jesus says. Why should we attack our minds and give them images of pain? Why should we teach them they are powerless when God holds out His power and His love and bids them take what is already theirs? The mind that is made willing to accept God's gifts has been restored to spirit and extends its freedom and its joy, as is the will of God united with its own. The self which God created cannot sin, and therefore cannot suffer. Let us choose today that He be our identity, and thus escape forever from all things the dream of fear appears to offer us. And the prayer says, Father, your Son cannot be hurt. And if we think we suffer, we but fail to know our one identity we share with you. We would return to it today, to be made free forever from all our mistakes, and to be saved from what we thought we were. I will not hurt myself again today. All right, let's go take a look at our text reading for today. And we're ready for Chapter 9, The Decision to Forget. We're in Section 9. It's the Correction of Errors, Chapter 9. Section 9 is the Decision to Forget. And we're going to start with paragraph 74. So if you want to turn to that as you're turning, I wanted to talk a little bit more about leaks. And they say that you can mound this dirt up as it starts to grow, putting dirt up on it, and that'll turn this kind of blanch it, and it's supposed to improve the flavor. We're going to read, I might have read this to you, but I wanted to read it again. Learning a little bit how to grow leeks. And you start them, they're a cool weather plant, but they don't want hard frosts. It says here that it's the Allium ampuloprasum, which is the leek, is an onion relative that does require a long season, but is otherwise very easy to grow. Start the tiny seeds indoors in early spring, setting out any time after the hard frosts are gone. Seedlings can tolerate a few degrees of frost with no difficulty. Give leeks the richest possible soil. As the plants start to become really large, earth up soil or mulch covering the stems, which then blanch or turn white, which is considered to improve the flavor. Mulch leeks do tolerate cooler autumn weather, but should be lifted and stored before bitter cold arrives. So that sounds like a long season, but well worth it, easy to grow plant. Okay, I'm planning on getting those ones I read to you last time we talked about them, the giant musselburgh, but I'm also thinking I'm going to get these keratin leeks. They're long, thick, 2 inches across, vigorous and fast growing, delicate, deliciously mild flavor, great fresh or cooked. The keratin leek was mentioned by Vilmorin in 1885, an old European favorite that is becoming very rare. Very adaptable, and yields are good. I like it if I can grow something that's becoming rare and like to eat it. anyway, when I'm cutting these things up, I usually just cut them all up into little pieces, mix some in with my salad, the whole thing. Just cut them all up, the whole thing in little pieces, add some to my salad and some in my whatever I'm cooking. Okay, use it like you would onions. See, we were talking about G-bombs yesterday. Well, that, chives and leeks are an onion relative. So they'll do the same thing, and you want to eat a little of it raw. It tastes really good steamed or cooked, of course, but you do want to eat a little bit of it raw. I understand there's some of those nutrient values that don't make it through the fire. All right, paragraph 74. You have not attacked God and you do love Him. Can you change your reality? No one can will to destroy himself. When you think you are attacking yourself, it is a sure sign that you hate what you think you are. And this and only this can be attacked by you. You can only attack your perception of yourself. What you think you are can be hateful, and what this strange images makes you do can be very destructive. Yet the destruction is no more real than the image. Although those who make idols do worship them, the idols are nothing, but their worshippers are the sons of God in sickness. Wow. 75. God would have them released from their sickness and returned to His mind. He will not limit your power to help them because He has given it to you. Do not be afraid of it because it is your salvation. What comforter can there be for the sick children of God except His power through you? Remember that it does not matter where in the sonship He is accepted. He is always accepted for all. And when your mind receives Him, the remembrance of Him awakens throughout the sonship. Heal your brothers simply by accepting God for them. Even if they don't see their oneness with God, their oneness with you, their innocence, their goodness, you see it in them. Look beyond all appearances. Your minds are not separate, and God has only one channel for healing, because He has but one Son. His remaining communication link with all His children joins them together and them to Him. To be aware of this is to heal them, because it is the awareness that no one is separate and no one is sick. To believe that a son of God can be sick is to believe that part of God can suffer. Love cannot suffer because it cannot attack. The remembrance of love, therefore, brings invulnerability with it. Do not side with sickness in the presence of a son of God, even if he believes in it. For your acceptance of God in him acknowledges the love of God, which he has forgotten. Your recognition of him as part of God teaches him the truth about himself, which he is denying. Would you strengthen his denial of God and thus lose sight of yourself? Or would you remind him of his wholeness and remember your Creator with him? Well, I hope the obvious answer is that you would remember your Creator with him. To believe a son of God is sick is to worship the same idol he does. God created love, not idolatry. All forms of idolatry are caricatures of creation. All forms of idolatry are grotesque forms, caricatures of creation, taught by sick minds which are too divided to know that creation shares power and never usurps it. Sickness is idolatry because it is the belief that power can be taken from you. Yet this is impossible because you are part of God who is all power. Wow. Okay. I keep saying wow because it just amazes me. Paragraph 78. A sick God must be an idol made in the image of what its maker thinks he is. And that is exactly what the ego does perceive in a son of God. A sick God, self-created, self-sufficient, very vicious, and very vulnerable. Is this the idol you would worship? Is this the image you would be vigilant to save? Are you really afraid of losing this? Look calmly, look calmly, look calmly. I want to important to think about this when you're meditating. Look calmly at the logical conclusion of the ego's thought system and judge whether its offering is really what you want, for this is what it offers you. To obtain this, you are willing to attack the divinity of your brothers and thus lose sight of your divinity. And you are willing to keep it hidden and to protect this idol, which you think will save you from the dangers which the idol itself stands for, but which do not exist. There are no idolaters in the kingdom, but there is great appreciation for every soul which God created because of the calm knowledge that each one is part of Him. God's Son knows no idols, but He does know His Father. Health in this world is the counterpart of value in heaven. Health in this world is the counterpart of value in heaven. It is not my merit that I contribute to you, but my love. For you do not value yourselves. When you do not value yourselves, you become sick. But my value of you can heal you because the value of God's Son is one. When I said, my peace I give unto you, I meant it. Peace came from God through me to you. It was for you, although you did not ask. All right, let me mark that. And let's take just a quick look at that particular passage Jesus was referring to in John chapter 14. And let's start and I'll read verse 26 and 27. And Jesus says, but the Helper, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, He will teach you all things and bring to your remembrance all that I have said to you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. He very literally gave us the peace from God that passes all understanding in this world. All right, now let's take a look at under our lesson, I will not hurt myself again today. What is creation? Creation is the sum of all God's thoughts, in number infinite, and everywhere without all limit. Only love creates, and only like itself. There was no time when all that it created was not there, nor will there be a time when anything that it created suffers any change. Forever and forever are God's thoughts exactly as they were and as they are, unchanged through time and after time is done. God's thoughts are given all the power that their own Creator has, for He would add to love by its extension. Thus His Son shares in creation, and must therefore share in power to create. What God has willed to be forever one will still be one when time is over, and will not be changed throughout the course of time, remaining as it was before the thought of time began. Creation is the opposite of all illusions, for creation is the truth. Creation is the Holy Son of God. For in creation is His will complete in every aspect, making every part container of the whole. Its oneness is forever guaranteed inviolate, forever held within His holy will, beyond all possibility of harm, of separation, imperfection, and of any spot upon its sinlessness. We are creation, we the sons of God. We seem to be discreet and unaware of our eternal unity with Him. Yet back of all our doubts, past all our fears, there still is certainty. For love remains with all its thoughts, its sureness being theirs. God's memory is in our holy minds, which know their oneness and their unity with their Creator. Let our function be only to let this memory return, only to let God's will be done on earth, only to be restored to sanity, and to be but as God created us. Our Father calls to us, we hear His voice, and we forgive creation in the name of its Creator. Holiness itself, whose holiness His own creation shares, whose holiness is still a part of us. Now go forth and see it in everyone. Even if they don't see their holiness, you see it for them. That's what the Holy Spirit sees, and we want to see what the Holy Spirit sees. All right, I will not hurt myself again today. Let us this day accept forgiveness as our only function. Let us this day accept forgiveness as our only function. Can we do that? Don't let anything come to your mind that you don't give it over to God. Put it on the altar to God, a gift of your perception to be returned with the true perception, miracle-mindedness, the truth that God is all in all. God is all and in all. Let us this day accept forgiveness as our only function. Why should we attack our minds and give them images of pain? Why should we teach them they are powerless when God holds out His power and His love and bids them take what is already theirs? The mind that is made willing to accept God's gift, God's gifts, has been restored to spirit and extends its freedom and its joy as is the will of God united with its own. The mind that is made willing to accept God's gifts has been restored to spirit and extends this freedom and its joy as is the will of God united with its own. The self which God created cannot sin, and therefore cannot suffer. Let us choose today that He be our identity, and thus escape forever from all things the dream of fear appears to offer us. I just want to say that lesson. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. Remember our lesson we had for several days that repeated that concept? I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And the prayer under I will not hurt myself again today. Father, your Son cannot be hurt, and if we think we suffer, we but fail to know our identity we share with you. We would return to it today, to be made free forever from all our mistakes, and to be saved from what we thought we were. I will not hurt myself again today. I will not hurt myself again today. Until tomorrow, let us accept forgiveness as our only function. I will not hurt myself again today.